Greetings to all of you. Greetings to my audience. My name is Chimaoge. You can also call me Moge. I know you can't see my whole head here, but you can see my face. Please let that be enough for today. These are my filming conditions for today, based on what is around me. Anyway, welcome to Moge. This is my network for all of my personal accounts. These accounts exist for many reasons. Two of the chief reasons are to show you my raw reactions to things. This video is one, and then also to give you relevant personal information about myself. Now again, who am I? My name is Chimaoge. You can also call me Moge. My full name is Chimaoge NkwoOrie. Again, that's the metaphysically correct name. I know that's atypical to give that in today's societies, but we're off. My government name is Chimaoge Chijioke Ibe. Another name for me based on the history of my lineage is Chimaoge Chijioke Ibenwuku. Simply what happened is by the time, I was born, one of my progenitors, at least, I'm not exactly sure who, I'm still trying to find out the exact history to that, had shortened the last name Ibenwuku to Ibe. So that's the story behind that. And anyway, one other relevant name for me is NkwoOrie, NkwoOrie, NkwoOrie. That's a name of another network here on Ibenwuku. Again, this is a subset of Ibenwuku, and I publish music under that name. So check that one out. Now, let's pray. Kabrunam nogoha. Dinanananamabunaka. Ezibihenani. Can you do all for me? I prayed for the success of this entire enterprise. Let's go. Now, what is the title of this video that you are watching? The title of this video that you are watching is President Donald Trump Removes Tariff Exception. President Donald Trump removes tariff exception. What is the purpose of the video? The purpose of this video is to talk about the highlighted art piece and the issues that it shines a light on. Now, what is this art piece? You can see it in the thumbnail. It's visible right there. It's available for purchase on the Chimaoge's Comments Patreon, and it's pinned in the comments of this video, the pinned comment. The name of this art piece is President Donald Trump Ends Tariff Exception for Certain Imported Goods. Again, President Donald Trump ends tariff exception for certain imported goods. Now again, the inspiration for this art piece is of course the news that President Trump had done this. Obviously this art piece also functions as a news giving vehicle. Obviously he has been waging a trade war with various other countries. He and his administration, to be more exact. So there are two places I saw this. One, I saw a Washington Post article that talked about how this was causing an uptick in prices for consumers. And two, I saw an Apple News alert to a CBS story, right? So anyway, that's the inspiration for it, and obviously all the issues related to that. Now let's talk about what is in the art piece itself. You'll see many things in the art piece itself. The first thing I want to highlight is an image of Trump himself. This is a cartoon image of Trump. I've used it in other art pieces. I created it myself using software based on, honestly, where did I see the picture? He makes a lot of funny faces. But anyway, he's making a strange face. I did it to capture him in his degeneracy. But I used that image, removed the background on it, and then highlighted him in red. It's in that in the art piece there. So that's one thing you'll see. Again, this is just to show how Trump, who, again, I want to emphasize the face of his administration. He's nowhere near the whole thing. He's just the top dog, but he doesn't do everything. So we have to remember it's a group doing this. Just to show the face of the administration as an immoral person, right? And then the second thing I want to highlight that's in the art piece itself is, in my language, ele nekeya. How does that translate? The deer in its category of existence. The deer in its category of existence. Those of you who are familiar with me, Again, know that I talked a lot about ele, or one thing you can translate in the way that English speakers understand deer, also the watcher, the enemy, uh, you know, among many other names. Um, and basically, it's a very bad person who exists in the cosmos. But just because he's a very bad person doesn't mean that there's some other realms in which he should exist, and it doesn't mean that there's not a need for him to manifest in a limited form in this existence. Now, I understand this is not information that most people are used to, but I ask that you please be open to it. It is relevant. So, his category of existence, there's two that are relevant. So there's his animal, right? Because there's beings known as Onyeka, or expansion people, or people who are greater than normal. I've talked about some of them in the past. For example, Shango. I know this is a term I just introduced. So I'll go into it more in the future. But long story short, these people have to manifest into the world, generally speaking. And there's two ways they manifest I want to highlight here. One is through their animal, because animals are a manifestation of a being's will to exist and expand, right? So there's two ways that beings can manifest as animals. One, at least I want to highlight here, one, their animal, the one that feeds them, and two, their category of existence. So their category of existence is an animal that's not necessarily the animal that feeds them. Now, there are some beings whose animal does feed them. And forgive me, I know I'm talking about things that most people have not heard of without these graphs and things, but I just want to introduce it and get to the point here. But the long story short here is that what I pictured in the image is what most people would refer to as a white-tailed deer. In my language, ironically, white-tailed deer is another name for ele. White-tailed deer, same thing. But in my language, uh, that particular category of the deer, that particular category of life that comes together to conceive more life, um, is called elelu, which would be an extreme deer or a purgatory deer. So that is actually Ele's category of life. What that means is that when he manifests as a person in his most, I guess, rest state, um, uh, forgive me if that's not the right term. I'm still learning about these things. But anyway, let me just go with that for now. In his resting state, that is the category of existence he's in. Ironically, it's similar, at least in appearance, to, in many cases, to his animal, Ele, right? But anyway, deer, or a lot of people call them antelopes, in various forms. Antelope is not uh, the most exact term for ele. Apparently, it's a form of Nshoku. Anyway, um, but that aside, the whole point I'm saying here is that animal represents ele. That represents the watcher, the deer, the worst kind of person there is, and just savagery in general, right? So, because again, another translation for ele is savagery, right? Because he's just looking at things. He's not doing anything positive. But anyway, the whole point is that the reality that has been created by the policies of the Trump administration, as well as the other forces at play um, that are interacting with them, aside from the people, of course, are savage, right? So it's created a lot of suffering. So I just put that deer there to highlight, um, how much suffering has been created by these policies. Again, these are acts of savagery um, that have been normalized. So that's what I want to highlight. Again, I know that one took a lot of explanation, but I hope you can think about that. Anyway, that's what's in the art piece itself. Now, here are some references. First, here are two sources I consulted to come to this information. One, CBS News. There's a CBS News article um, on this tariff exemption. The term de minimis was used. It's spelled DE space MINIMIS. It looks like this term is in, well, it looks like it's in what most scholars would call Latin now. Based on my studies, that's what it looks like. But anyway, a lot of that's in U.S. law. So de minimis, DE space MINIMIS, de minimis exemption, which refers to a particular tariff exemption for goods that are under a certain price, under $800, what the article said. So if the good costs less than $800, it's a tariff exemption. Trump removed it with executive order, so that made some goods more expensive for consumers, and then apparently a lot of people had their orders canceled and delayed. So it's very inconvenient for people. Yeah, that's what I'll say. There's a lot to the situation. So anyway, there's a CBS article on that. If you look that all up, you should find it. And the other reference I want to highlight is the Washington Post article about this. That went into more detail about how this is impacting consumers directly. Now, here are two places that you all can find this, just to verify things for yourself. One, you could Google de minimis. If you Google de minimis, you should find things about this. And then two, if you look up the Trump tariffs, you should find this, because this is just one of a slate of policies he's outrolled in his trade war. Now, what should you all do as a result of this information? Right, upon hearing this, what should you do? What is the goal here? One, try to see if you can find a roughly, and I want to say roughly, you don't have to be too exact, but roughly $10 daily food haul. $10 daily food haul. What I mean by this is this. If you check the prices of goods at your local stores, grocery stores, and whatever else, you should be able to find some food items that will be substantial, but are also not too pricey. For example, there's some canned goods such as chili and things that are like $2 and something. So if you combine that with other things, it's possible. Again, I don't want to speak on everyone's situation, but it's very possible to find a daily food haul, as in, I don't want to just say one meal, but it could potentially be multiple meals, but like a daily just intake of food that you could use to, get a significant amount of the food you need for around $10. I'm emphasizing this just because prices are going up, so this is a point of help. And the second point I want to emphasize, an action item that can be taken as a result of these occurrences, is to find other people who would contribute to your daily total food haul. This is equally important because no one should be solely responsible for getting their own food. We are collective beings. Anyway, now here's a bonus piece of information for higher development. Eat beef. Eat beef. It has many overall health benefits as part of a balanced diet. Balanced diet, okay? So that's another point. All right, so that's the end of the points about the highlighted art piece. Here's another bonus piece of information for higher development. Make sure that you have public accounts online that give out your personal information and updates. People must know that you exist to help you. So I'll just leave it at that. Anyway, let me close out, then take a break before I repeat these points. So a reminder of the title of this video: President Donald Trump removes tariff exception. President Donald Trump removes tariff exception. Let's pray again. Chimaoge. Now double. Let's just double up the first prayer. Let me remind you all of my name. Again, my name is Chimaoge. You can also call me Moge. Full name is Chimaoge NkwoOrie. That's the metaphysically correct one. My government name is Chimaoge Chijioke Ibe. Another name for me based on the history of my lineage is Chimaoge Chijioke Ibenwuku. And yeah, there are other ones. And then thank you all for watching. And before I take the break, I'll leave you with two questions just to think about. One, why do Republicans raise tariffs, which are taxes, even though they scream about how they will lower taxes because taxes are so bad, one. And then two, should people be responsible for getting all of their own food? Anyway, those are the two questions I'll leave you with as I take my break. Okay, I'm back. All right, let's get back into this. Just took off my hoodie because it's getting a little hot in here. Anyway, greetings once again. My name is Chimaoge. You can also call me Moge. Welcome to Moge. Let's get into this second half of the video, the main part that is. Again, my full name is Chimaoge NkwoOrie. Chimaoge NkwoOrie. Also use the forename Moge. Again, another acceptable thing to call me. My government name is Chimaoge Chijioke Ibe. Chimaoge Chijioke Ibe. And another white structured name for me based on the history of my lineages is Chimaoge Chijioke Ibenwuku. Chimaoge Chijioke Ibenwuku. And of course also the name NkwoOrie, NkwoOrie, is something I use to publish music. Check out that network. Anyway, let's pray once again. I pray for the success of the highlighted art piece, the success of this video, the success of their goals, the success of you, my audience, and the success of myself, and all our collective ancestors. Anyway, let's go. The title of this video, just to let you know what you're watching, is President Donald Trump Removes Tariff Exception. President Donald Trump Removes Tariff Exception. Its purpose is to talk about the highlighted art piece, which again you could find below this video, and the issues that it shines a light on. Let's talk more about that art piece. It's called President Donald Trump Ends Tariff Exemption for Certain Imported Goods. President Donald Trump ends tariff exemption for certain imported goods. It was inspired by two articles I saw reporting this. One from the Washington Post, and another that I saw on CBS News via an Apple News alert. Now, to highlight two things that are in the art piece itself. One, an image of a cartoon image of President Donald Trump himself surrounded in red, just to show that he's not a good person. And then another thing I want to show you is in the center an image of a deer, because the deer is savagery itself. So these policies that hurt people are forms of savagery. Anyway. Here's some references. So two places I saw this are one, the CBS News article, that CBS News article I referenced before, and two, that Washington Post article. Now, where can you find more information about this? Just for your own research. One, you could Google the term de minimis, D-E space M-I-N-I-M-I-S, because the exemption that he got rid of is called the de minimis exemption, and it's exemption for tariffs on certain important goods that are below $800. So he got rid of that, and the prices of things went up for people, and also messed up certain people's orders. And these are, of course, goods that are ordered from outside of the United States to be received by someone in the United States. So if you Google de minimis, along with the terms tariff and or tax, you should find this. And then you can also look up the Trump tariffs, anything with the Trump administration related to tariffs. You should find this and his other policies. So some action items that can be taken as a result of this information. One, try to see if you can find a roughly $10 daily food haul. Try to see if you can find a roughly $10 daily food haul. I recommend looking at canned foods that can be kind of cheap. yeah, that's a good place to start because you need to eat. And then another thing to do is to find other people who will contribute to your daily total food haul. Find other people who will contribute to your daily total food haul. An example of what I'm talking about is find someone you can eat a meal with who will also bring food to the meal because we live in community. And then here's an extra piece of information. Eat beef. Eat beef. It has many overall health benefits as part of a balanced diet. All right, now on to the rest. So I've given 5 overall, I guess, pieces of information here. Ironically, the highlighted art piece, which is the 5th piece, had its own 5 plus a bonus. Now here's the bonus of the overall. Bonus piece of information here. Make sure that you have public accounts online that give out your personal information and updates. People must know that you exist to help you. Do not be a ghost. Now, a reminder, the title of this video, President Donald Trump removes tariff exception. President Donald Trump removes tariff exception. Let's pray again. Chimaoge. Again, we've doubled up our prayer. Please support this prayer with your own prayers. Again, a reminder of my name. My name is Chimaoge. You can also call me Moge. You heard my other names previously. Again, if you want to look me up, Chimaoge NkwoOrie. That's the metaphysically correct one. And then a government name, my government name for both the U.S. and Nigeria is Chimaoge Chijioke Ibe. Chimaoge Chijioke Ibe, the last name being spelled I-B-E. And then thank you all, Ka. Let me leave you all with 2 questions before you see the rest of this video. First, why do Republicans raise tariffs, which are taxes, even though they say they are a low-tax party? And secondly, should people be responsible for getting all of their own food? Thank you very much. Goodbye. Yeah, just preparing for the video, ironically. Anyway. Hey everyone. Just continuing my work in here in a different location, just because in the previous location, somebody was playing inappropriate content out loud. So obviously I couldn't have that be heard in the video. So I just had to move. Again, not my fault, just someone abusing a common space. Anyway, I'm just preparing for the video and eating a little bit. Yeah, I don't know.